NICE Ltd, together with its subs, provides cloud platforms for AI-driven digital business solutions worldwide. It offers CX1, which is Customer Experience One, everything facing the customer, a cloud-native open platform, Enlighten, an AI engine for the customer engagement market, and smart self-service engagement organizations. Okay. This is a software company. And it's down 21%. Okay. For the 5-year, hasn't really done much. Where are they located? So this company is located in Israel. And Scott Russell is the CEO. He's got a lot of employees, 8,000. Have you heard of this company, Nkiter?
Yeah, sure. They are in Tel Aviv, yes.
Okay,
but
good.
I don't know. I do not have much input about them. I know that they were very strong in the call center business. They have software to manage call centers and so on. Maybe now it's the same, but branded as AI, or maybe they, created more features, but
Okay,
nothing much more than.
You just got me in the zone I needed to be. So as mentioned, I've worked in this space for 20 plus years, maybe 25 plus years, and I understand this space. And the call center, like the companies who were the leaders 10 years ago in call center, they are getting destroyed right now because the near the top of like AI use cases is going to be providing support to your customer. So if you're, let's say you are Honda, and rather than having a person call center where you call into Honda, you have a question, and you talk to somebody, they're going to have AI agents really try to handle that whole experience for you. That's what's disrupting companies like these, because typically call center companies are dependent on how many licenses you're going to sell to that customer based on how many people are going to be accessing the software. Well, if we have AI agents, it's more of a platform that's doing all those things, and you're no longer on the metric of people are using the software. So these guys see how they're already advertising these agents. So this is good news, bad news. The good news is that these call centers are going to be like, hey, we can sell you this new technology, AI technology. The bad news is they're going to cannibalize an existing business. They're like, hey, you used to pay us $1 million for the software to have your 1,000 people or 10,000 people use the software. And now you're going to pay us $500,000 for these agents. And we lose the $1 million and we got the $500,000. Well, very quickly their revenues go down, and that might be happening. We'll look at their financials. So that's what's happening in this space, and I'm aware of it. The one company that is trying to navigate this, and I think they're doing a pretty good job, is Salesforce. They're big enough, and Salesforce is not completely dependent on the call center, although there's some of their businesses based in the call center. A lot of it is for salespeople, Salesforce automation, as well as other things. So let's take a look at the financials behind NICE. So $10 billion company, $2.6 billion market cap, revenue. And the forward P is 13.5. So analysts are believing that this business is going to be disrupted. I like situations like these because before we get into the financials, if the financials and the metrics tell me a different thing, this might be an opportunity. So let's dig into it. So I'm seeing green on the screen. So I'm glad I made that statement before. See how it's growing? So the disruption of AI is not happening. Okay. The investors are saying, oh, these guys are going to be, their revenues are going to go down. But no, the facts are the revenues are going up. Okay. And these are in US dollars. Okay. They're going to announce on February 20th because they're a smaller company. So right at the beginning of earnings season, these guys will be announcing in about a month. Okay. Let's take a look at their free cash flow and margins. Margins are good, 66%. And free cash flow is looking good. Look at that growth. I like growth like this. So let's look at the balance sheet, but I'm smelling a good opportunity so far. So if we took this number, it's a growing software company. So this is worth 14. Let's look at the balance sheet first before I make that statement. So statistics, balance sheet, 1.5 billion of cash, $500 million of debt. So they're plus 1 billion of cash versus debt. This business is worth 15 billion, and they're being priced at 10 billion. This is a good opportunity because this year and next year is going to be where AI, I think the euphoria that I started hearing in 2023 was, oh, AI is going to do all these awesome things. And I don't argue that someday it may do that. But what I point out is, if it's going to take 20 years to get to that outcome, as an investor, you don't wait around 20 years. You're like, I'll wait around 2 quarters. That's how investors work. It's like, hey, if you can show me results, maybe in the next 12 months, that's how much lead time I'm going to give you. Look at Meta, how their stock was sold off because they had a bad year. Investors are not patient. It's money. It's hard-earned money we made. We do not want to lose it. So if the AI story turns where it's like, hey, we thought these AI agents were going to do all these things and bring all this value, and in fact, it failed, and it doesn't do that, this is going to be a really good rally stock. They have the right fundamentals. They have more cash and debt. They're priced at a discount. They don't have a dividend. They don't have to have a dividend in my book. This is a good company. I'm going to watch it and let's analyze it, and I'll kind of put the valuation on it. And I would say that, earlier today, I used this video editing software. Like when I create videos, I edit them so they look a little nicer. And it had a feature that, hey, we got this AI thing, right? You want to try it? It's like, okay. So I gave it a go, worked through it. The first time you do anything takes longer. So I did it, and the results were terrible. It cut half the screen. Like you're seeing this screen, right? And when I do a video, I tend to take this section off and that section off because you don't need to see that. And I make this section as big as you can. The AI software cut it off like here. And I'm like, no, that'd be terrible. You guys wouldn't even know what I'm talking about when I'm going, oh, market cap. Well, you can't see market cap. The other thing it did is it added music. And it's like, okay, well, that's not a bad idea. I don't add music to my videos because I got feedback that people would rather hear what I'm saying versus the music. And it overlaid music, and the music was too loud. Like it was as loud as my voice. So whenever the music was on, you couldn't hear me on the AI generated video. So I'm like, if AI is going to do that for me, it's a giant waste of time. And if I paid money for that, it'd be a giant waste of money. If a lot of conclusions like that begin to get formed in the AI space, then the AI story, the big general story of, oh, AI is going to do all these awesome things, is kind of going to be put off to the side. And we're going to get back to normal business, which is, hey, companies like NICE, they have a real business. They're making good money, generating cash, growing their business by 14%, and it's underpriced. Beautiful. And one little fact that I wanted your opinion on, Inkider. So I was listening to The Compound. I like The Compound. And they had a chart guy, I forgot his name, but he basically said, hey, for 2024, the US did great. 2 countries did better than the US. Israel, and who was the other one? I forgot. I could have sworn he said China, but I could be wrong. Just from a general, like, if you compare the US stock market to Israel, according to him, performed a little better. And Kider, do you agree with that? Are you seeing like the Israeli stock market do really well?
Well, what happened in 2024 is the Israeli stock market was the best performing in the whole world.
Correct.
And the reason that I can think of is that in the prior year or two, the stock market was quite depressed or distressed, because of the road terror attack that happened October 7, like a year and a half ago. And Israel was and is in an ongoing war with the Hamas, with Gaza, with Lebanon, with Yemen, with Iran, with everyone. Now, once they see that, hey, with all these attacks around, still the country is solid and standing and continue to function, then the stock market gets back on its feet, and this was reflected in coming back to previous heights. And I hope that explains my
totally
opinion.
Makes sense. And the other thing I would add to your comments is, if the Israeli stock market was kind of starting at a low price, low valuation, right? Because you had a lot of negative things going on that now have been hopefully put to rest. And now the market's up because you started with a lower valuation. Where in the US, 2023 was really good. And then back to back, 24 was really good. It's like, well, yeah, 24 was good, but we started with kind of a number that was a little bit higher. I'm seeing just high level, that might also be in play, but it's good to validate what I heard is that, hey, the Israeli stock market did really well. I was like, huh, I got to talk to Kiter about that. And here we're looking at a stock that is located in Israel. It's a software company. And just while we're talking here, universities in Israel, like, are there a lot of universities? Is it easy for a young person to go get college educated in Israel?
I would say yes. There are few universities that are more difficult to apply to. You know, like in the US, you can learn computer in MIT, or you learn in one of your I will not say more local or
State
state
school.
colleges,
Yeah.
state school. So here there are also all kind of colleges. And actually, the what's making strong horsepower to the IT or the software industry and the cybersecurity and so on is those that are coming from the army. You know, there are very strong software units.
Yeah, I had a client, and the CIO was Israeli, and the company was here in California, and he was not a. He was either a general or somewhere up there, like in the Israeli military, and then he was the CIO of this software company here in California, and so that kind of correlates with what you just said, which is if you go in the military, they teach you a lot of things that are applicable for the world, like cybersecurity and so forth.
If you are in the correct unit, what we say. I mean, there are units that you can be a fighter and you gain nothing, but if you go to these software based units, you are gaining a lot of experience, and your market value is very good after after you are coming out of the army, of the IDF.
Yeah, it sounds really good, really interesting. Okay, I always told I told my sons, and well, I never told this to my sons directly because my wife wouldn't let me, but I would always tell them, like, hey, if you want to learn technology and you want to go in the military, it's not a bad idea because they put you on like some of the best, technology. Like if you want to learn about drones, you go into the military. They're doing drones like you wouldn't believe. You want to go into cyber, either cyber warfare or cybersecurity, the military. They're working with the FBI and CIA. You'll get awesome experience, but my wife didn't want me to promote the military.
yeah. In fact, man, you know what's funny? That your progress in the ranking in what you're doing is very quick. Like you can be a commander of unit of 50 people when you are 22 years old or 23. You don't need to wait to be 50 or 60.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's how it goes in the army,
Okay, so we've got cash 1.5 billion. We've got 566 million shares outstanding. And I'm looking at another screen, guys, just so that I can keep this sheet so you guys could see it. But I'm basically going to the stock analysis website, picking out these numbers. Yeah, so it's 50% discounted based on free cash flow. Now let's take a look at their, so 14 analysts cover it, and the analysts are saying it's 60% discounted. You see how, you remember the previous conversation we're having in Kiter where I look at analysts' opinions, and if anything, it kind of goes, okay, I'm not crazy, right? I'm like, I'm at 49, they're at 59. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm digging in the right place, or at least thanks to Mike, we're digging in the right place. So this is 12.
I'm just glad I'm not brain dead because I couldn't find anything wrong with the company. So,
well, so far so good. We just got to get the market to play ball with us. So right now their PE is going to be 13. Come on, stock market. This is a software company. They're growing. I'm going to grow that by 10%. This is, I'm discounted by 10% because I'm in the US. They're in Israel. It's out of the country for me. I can't see anything wrong, Mike. You guys brought up DSP. I really like DSP. You brought up NICE. I really like NICE. Both are going to go on my watch list. I like software companies. Yeah, I'm good to go on this one. This
I
one
just
here.
want to comment a little thing. You're saying that they are Israeli, so you're giving like taking more 10% discount, which is fair. But I just want to comment that as opposed to like NU or the other Latin America companies that are operating in Latin America, this company, for example, is in Israel, but its operation is not in Israel. Or maybe there is, but it's very minor. I mean, their major operations are in the US and around the and elsewhere.
Mhm.
That's what I want to maybe clarify.
You're right. You're right. Maybe 10 is a little too
No,
high.
I'm not saying no take 10. I'm saying take 10. That's fine. I'm
Mhm.
not. It's nothing that's wrong with that. I'm just want to highlight the fact that they are just headquartered in Israel, but the business is not in Israel. They are not making money from Israel.
They're selling it around the world. So let's take a look at their website a little bit more. And here's where, why am I getting this X here? Okay. So you see here, here's nice. Genesis is another leader in that space. And let's see if it's going to let me. Okay. It's not going to let me. So it's up there. This is Gartner. They provide reviews in the software space. Cisco's in there. Amazon Web Services, Five9. Okay. These guys are near the top. You want to be as close to this point here as possible for this chart. Okay, so these guys are legit. I want to get more familiar with products, and I can give you an opinion of like, hey, these products are good, or man, those are really hard to sell. So AI for customer experience, I kind of provided comments there already where if these guys can make digital chatbots that really work, it's a really good business. It's gonna work. Digital and self-service, that's where you probably go onto company websites, get registered, and have an experience. You create an account and so forth. Journey orchestration and routing, workforce engagement and management, analytics, agent assist, open cloud platform. Okay. So I like it. I like it. I think they're growing. If this business had shown that they actually were seeing their revenues go down, I would have stayed away from this. But this is solid. Look at this green. Green. And they're up to 2.6 billion in US dollar revenue. They're going to announce on the 20th. I like it. And Mike, you couldn't find anything wrong. I couldn't find anything wrong. 14 analysts look at it. Some of them think it's going to go up. It's going to double in value. At least one analyst thinks it's going to double in value. And the worst case scenario is the stock's going to go up to $200 a share. What's not to like? I'll take the worst case scenario. Thank you. All right. Good stuff.
Yeah, just using a placeholder. I actually put an order in for this already at 160.85 just for Tuesday, just to remind me there. I'm going to watch it first and obviously move it if I have to, but
yeah.
I just want to make sure that I wasn't missing something. So
I'm not seeing you miss anything. And so, Mike, you know that I work for a big giant software company, right?
Yeah.
So when I give you comments, it's right in the heart of like what I've been doing for a while. And one thing that I've noticed is with the whole AI, big story is a lot of conclusions of the future have been put out there. Like, oh, software companies like Adobe are not going to be that important in the future. And I'm like, maybe you're right, but explain future to me? Give me a time fence. Well, my best guess is in like 10 years, the Adobe business is going to be very different. It has to be because you have new technology, you have innovation, you have all these, got it. But between now and 2026, 2027, Adobe is going to keep growing. And I think that's going to drive value of Adobe back to nice. That whole AI story of, oh, AI is going to disrupt and keep companies like this from growing. When in 10, 20 years, between now and then, these guys are going to make a lot of money and they're going to keep growing. And at some point, investors are going to be like, enough with this AI thing. It's not doing anything. It's like when Apple came up with Siri. If you remember the Siri app that came out 15 years ago, and we would talk to it, hey, Siri, do this. And it would do simple things. And then Alexa from Amazon, Google came out with Google, all these devices that were in our homes. And that faded. That faded after like a year. And if AI fades, companies like NICE is going to be, a really good winner, because it's going to be like, okay, back to what's been working for the last 10 years. Industry will continue to buy NICE software. They will invest more in their software to be more efficient so their employees can take care of customers and so forth. So that's one observation that I've made, that I've kind of found, and keep in mind, like I'm old enough to have experienced the .com bubble. And I most definitely, when the .com bubble started, I didn't disagree that, the internet was super important and valuable, but the things that were coming out were just really silly. And that, oh yeah, nobody's ever going to go back to work in an office. Everybody's going to be, and all these things that were just way too futuristic. And then the market crashed. So I think the similar thing's going to happen with AI. It was really built up in 23, 24. Now it's put up or shut up time. It's like, okay, show me some real life examples. And I think NICE is a good place to park some money. I'm going to definitely put it on my watch list and probably buy some shares.